Hi there, welcome to Urbinary, the podcast cataloging the everyday and extraordinary in the city.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Urbinary. I'm Ali, and today I'm here with Kosar Khosroshahi. She is a master's student in landscape architecture with a background in architectural engineering. As an early career researcher, she is passionate about investigating the social aspect of environmental sustainability, transdisciplinary sustainability science, and geospatial analysis at their intersection with design and management of urban green spaces. In her abstract, Kosar discussed the importance of balancing the preservation of urban ecosystems with human well being, emphasizing the role of social ecological systems and the concept of relational value. She explores human nature relationship and values with the Atatürk Urban Forest in Istanbul, highlighting the potential impact of proposed landscape changes and advocating for intersection of public values into planning frameworks for sustainable outcomes.
Thank you, Ali, for your introduction. This work is actually based on my master's thesis. In this line of work, I have found interesting results of how Istanbul citizens and visitors of the Atatürk Urban Forest facilitate relationships with the forest. One of my most important findings, I can say, was that the relationship that constitutes a good and meaningful life for the visitors of the forest is reliant upon the existence of the forest itself. So, I also found that relational values that associate with the concepts of sense of place is the most articulated values for the forest, which is important for the people's experience in the forest. These are the parts of my geospatial analysis so far. However, my research is still ongoing, and I'm more than excited to explore more parts of my research.
Urbinary.
Could you paint us a vivid picture of the socio-ecological system, giving our listeners a brief introduction of its intricacies and importance?
Social ecological systems, or the coupled human nature system, study the social and ecological components that are involved in the system as a whole. This means that not only these elements, but also recognizing their interactions and interdependencies is very crucial. Both humans and nature are highly dynamic components, and their interactions imply that changes in one will influence the other. The importance of these interactions and feedbacks is that they can develop mutual adaptability to each other. That is the essence dealing with change and uncertainty. And this peculiarity is the very thing that challenges narrow scientific approach that by reducing variabilities in the system try to quantify, control, and predict ecosystem sustainability. So the cycle of process of interactions, feedbacks, and adaptations is a change ranging from small landscape or regional scales to global scales, and this makes it clear that it is very difficult to systematically experiment across these scales, and this is why the role of humans and their local knowledge that incorporates observations and experiments about their surrounding nature is crucial to be complemented in environmental planning and management.
Urbinary.
Can you dive into the delicate dance between humanity and nature? How might nurturing the relationship pave the way how brighter, more sustainable future?
Social ecological systems actually pertain to the human nature relationships. Humans, based on their roles and functions, engage in different relationships with nature, and each individual, by feelings, sensitivities, orientations, or worldviews, learn and develop their own perceptions and knowledge about the environment. So, arising out of these perceptions and knowledge is the values that people associate to their surrounding entities. Uh, they are the importance we reflect upon our surroundings that affect our quality of life and well being, And these values are the bridges that connect ecosystems and institutions. I like to refer here to Fisher's book with the title Citizens, Experts, and the Environment: The Politics of Local Knowledge, that says we as experts should take account of the basic meanings and underlying values of the landscapes by the community life who have an intimate relationship with their surroundings. For example, research have shown that society's perceived aesthetic values for a given natural landscape has developed stronger drivers of motivation for biodiversity or nature conservation. So I think a sustainable future for our environment goes hand in hand with social equity and points to the fact that we need approaches that are more progressive in social ecological system thinking.
Urbinary.
So, your paper delves into the fascinating realm of urban forestry, notably spotlighting Istanbul's urban forest. Could you share some captivating insights, particularly tying them back to our previous discussions?
Sure. So, well, while I was conducting my research in the Atatürk Urban Forest, sadly, the land at the northern top of the forest was open to privatization and constructions for tourism facilities, which immediately faced many protests from the local community demanding the plans to be invoked, which are still ongoing until recently. So sadly, this threat of landscape change would effectively not only ruin the health of the urban forest, but also deter the very human nature relationships I discovered that exist in the forest and the many values people perceive their well being regarding the forest, which allows them to live a good and meaningful life. From a social ecological point of view, and how Berkes and Folk put it, this would be a case of the tragedy of the commons, in which the system's integral components and their interconnectedness have been totally disregarded. So I think there is a strong necessity for adaptive local policies in which people are affiliated and encouraged as stewards of their own local environment.
Urbinary.
Let's tackle a crucial challenge: bringing the gap between academia and the broader community. How can we foster meaningful connections and collaboration to translate academic insights into real world impact?
I think I look at this challenge also as a systematic kind of a task. With our transition to a highly technological era and increasing environmental and social challenges, one of the most important measures to be taken as a part of science is raising awareness to the general public about where are we now, how are we changing, and how they can be involved in this transition to future. And as I mentioned earlier, in addition to this, for the academia to take a post-positivist outlook and pluralistic methodologies to allow the citizen science complement our knowledge. However, I think based on what I have learned from my research on Atatürk Urban Forest, for the science community connection, we need institutions and policies that are open and welcoming to this kind of interaction and trust the role of people in improving and ensuring resilience in the system. So I think I strongly believe that, first of all, it is important for the higher ruling systems to ultimately support spaces for dialogue between academia and the broader community.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me too. I really enjoyed it.
Urbinary.
And for our listeners, stay tuned for our next episode with Miriam Sophie Mauel. In the next episode, we are delving with Miriam as she explores the concept of serial refurbishment as a transformative solution to urban sustainability challenges. Tune in to learn about its potential impact, market scope, and the necessity policy adjustments and collaboration with widespread adoption. Urbinary is produced in collaboration with Poliradio, the official radio channel at Politecnico di Milano.
Urbinary, the podcast cataloging the everyday and extraordinary in the city.